So I know I'm driving and some people are going to leave their little comments about that. They typically do. I do want to say though, I did start the video at a red light and I will stop it when I get to my work because I'm almost there. But I don't have enough time to do this video before work, so I wanted to start it ahead of time. Anyways, I will cut the before and the after, so it may appear that I'm doing this video fully while driving, but I promise I started it at a red light. Any hoodle McNoodle. So, I listen to like podcasts and like YouTube videos while I'm driving, and there was this one girl talking about like fat phobia and like kind of like criticizing just people that are, you know, doing fat phobia, like, oh, you're fat phobic if you don't like me, you're fat phobic if you don't think I'm attractive just because I'm overweight, that kind of bullshit. So anyways, I don't know what it's called on TikTok because I'm not a big person on TikTok, but she did a thing where it was like a really, really, really skinny person. And she said, you know, it's not just fat people that get shit. Us extremely skinny people do too. And this overweight girl did not like it. She really got upset, honestly. Like, went on and on and on about it. Basically was saying, you know, oh, well, do you skinny people go to your doctor and your doctor says you need to gain weight? Yeah, actually. So I don't look that skinny right now. I'm always like a thinner person. I got big thighs and a big old booty. I know. That's what a lot of people comment on, and all my like friends joke around about because I really do have a big ass, and you know, for a little skinny tiny white girl. But I'm curvy now. I wasn't before. I was extremely underweight. Part of it was health issues. Part of it was because I was partying. And by partying, I don't just mean drinking. And also because of just eating choices. So it was like this huge mixture of things that made me look like a freaking skeleton. Like all this was like, it was like this at all times. Like caved in like this. My face was sunken in. I was severely underweight to the point it was like extremely impacting my health. And so yeah, when I went to the doctor, actually the doctors did criticize me. Not only did they criticize me, they also would talk about how I probably needed help, how I was probably anorexic and not admitting it to them, even at periods where I wasn't having difficulties with my diet, or with eating and all that kind of stuff. So they would give me pamphlets, they would recommend things, they would recommend classes and recommend groups. They really made me feel really shitty about it, even when it was fully a health thing, and before I had an eating disorder, because eventually I did, but before that, it was literally just a dieting problem and just health stuff, and I was still being criticized, still being looked down on, still being told I was doing something I wasn't doing. So yes, we do, as extremely skinny people, deal with issues at the doctor. It does happen, actually. And then she went on to comment about how you know, people like look at you when you're fat. Girl, people look at you when you're severely underweight too, because you know what, honestly, I do it too. When I see a girl and I'm like, whoa, she's probably anorexic, I look too, and unfortunately I judge too because I've been there. So yeah, I judge those people too, and a lot of people do. You can't tell me you don't see a girl that's all skin and bones and not think something. You do. It's just natural. And then what was the other comment? Something about like, oh, I don't get a job because I'm fat. There's a lot of skinny people who probably get refused for jobs too because they look sickly, and people don't want people that look like that working for them. So yeah, really skinny people also deal with that. There was other things too that like I can't think of right in this moment, but it's just, you're not alone just because you're fat. Any extreme is gonna deal with stuff. Any extreme. Okay, so like don't think that, oh, I'm overweight so I deal with all this BS. Girl, so do us underweight people. Again, I'm not underweight anymore. Thank God I'm not underweight anymore. I am very happy that I'm no longer a bone. Like, I looked like a freaking skeleton that somebody had draped some skin on. It was gross. It was disgusting. I am so glad I lost access to that account, that I think it was a MySpace account that had all those pictures, because ew, I don't want those pictures. Like, it was disgusting. And I'm not saying if you're severely underweight, you're disgusting. I'm not saying that. It was disgusting because of who I was at that time and what I was doing to my body. It was horrible. I wasn't taking care of myself mentally or physically, and it clearly showed. And sometimes it's the same with overweight people. But don't think just because, oh, she's skinny, she doesn't deal with what I deal with. Bullshit. You have no idea what it's like going to a doctor and having them tell you you have an eating disorder when you don't. or refusing to do tests on you because they just assume something about you. That was another thing she brought up. Oh, does your doctor just say, oh, your pain's because you're overweight and refuse to do tests? Have you ever had a doctor refuse to do tests to find out if there's something medically wrong with you that's making it so you can't hold weight? Or maybe something that could literally kill you because they just assume you have an eating disorder? So, no, you probably haven't dealt with that. Why? Because you're on a different end of the spectrum. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, although obviously it's unhealthy. It's also unhealthy to be extremely underweight. There are two extremes there. And both of those extremes face adversity. You're not alone because you're overweight. That was my little 2 cents there. That's all I wanted to say. I'm going to shut up. I got to get to work anyway. Bye.